So I've taken some time off from the game, and coming back, a few things have changed. Now today we're going to be looking at this as a new player coming in 2023. So if you've taken a break, if you've played Ace before, or if you've never played Ace, today we're going to be looking at it from a new perspective as a brand new player. Welcome everybody, welcome. If you don't know me, my name is BearCozy. I strive to make not only entertaining but also educational videos. I like to have fun and I really enjoy playing the game. So as I've mentioned before, I've taken some time off, and today I'm coming in from a fresh new player's perspective because when I logged in, this is the first thing that popped up right here. Now, the very first thing that I noticed, and if you are just coming back to the game or if you're just starting to play the game, the very first thing you'll notice is the path to growth, or the challenge development. What's it called down here? It is the path to growth. That is the first one. So path to growth, we got Arcane Dominator, we got Arena Battle, and we got Hero Development. Each one of these stages, and then of course we have a bunch more, right? So on and so forth. We got the Void Tower, No Man's Land, and we have a progression. There is now a nice progression set up with rewards, of course, and on the bottom. So the way that this is now working is each one of these is its own. As you can see, my path to growth, I have not started claiming yet. I just came back a couple of days ago. I've been playing the game, but I have not been claiming any rewards because I wanted to do this together. Now, each one of these has its own tree, and as you start progressing, you now start getting a lot of rewards, which is really, really nice. And right now, mine will probably go pretty far, if not all the way up, because most of my stages are on Hell stage 3 or 4 for the dungeons, as well as Arcane Dominator as well is going to be the same way. So I do have to go through and claim a bunch of these rewards. I'm sure a lot of these will be maxed out. Some of these may or may not be retroactive. That's going to be interesting. So that is the very first thing you'll notice. And then on the bottom, we also have a reward system. So as we claim stars, right now I am 1 out of 65 here. And if we claim another one, we get ourselves a nice little advanced summoning crystal. And on the bottom, we now get 2 points completed out of 370. That is where it ends up. And as you can see, as we complete, the bottom progress bar fills up and we get rewards there as well. And that is a really good incentive to complete all of the rewards. So that is the very first thing if you are coming back or if you are brand new. So make sure you are following these challenges to get not only the progression rewards inside each one of these, but also on the bottom. And as you could see, we have brand as a reward. We got a hierarchy, Soul Arcana there. And then of course, Urian, who is absolutely amazing. And he is very, very strong. So that is the very first thing to focus on. The next thing, if you are just coming back, the next thing that was a big shock for me was the Dragon Cup Rally, and you can find that under events on the right hand side of your main tab. Now, Dragon Cup Rally works a little bit different than the rewards. The Dragon Cup Rally is actually very interesting. It has a very tournament feel, very tournament setup. So you have group leaders here which can earn rewards if you are leading. Currently, I'm not. I'm way behind since I just came back. And then you have rewards as well. Now, the way that this is split is you have basic rewards, which are guaranteed as you complete the dungeons. In this case, this is Roaring Tulpa. And we do also have a gear collection. So as I run Roaring Tulpa and collect gear, which I can double dip on 2 events, I can now start claiming rewards. And these are going to be the basic rewards there. And then if you are interested in the progress rewards, which are unfortunately behind a paywall, you do have the option to unlock this here. And the badges, I believe, are 20 bucks a pop. So that's a little bit pricey considering how many events there are. Now, the gear collection and the Roaring Tulpa kind of work very similar. And as you can see, we now have books for heroes, and you can collect those through these events. Number 3, I would say the most significant thing that I was very, very sad to see is the Newbie Summons. Now, as you go to the Summon portal, when you are a brand new player, when you are a new player, as I like to call them, we have the 5 Newbie Summons. That is no longer in game. Unfortunately, that was taken out. We got a chance, I believe it was 5 times to summon 10 heroes. I believe it was something like that. It was 5 10 pulls as soon as you completed the normal adventure or the easy mode. In adventure, as soon as you completed half of the common adventure, I believe it was maybe chapter 2, chapter 3, something along those lines. It has been a very long time for me. You came up to Newbie Summons. We got 5. When I did it, we got 10 pops, right? So we got 5 summons, 10 each, and then you got to pick whichever one you thought had the best heroes. For me, I picked William and Zatlux, since my only other option was Hydrusia, and Hydrusia comes out very, very frequent. At least in my case, I've gotten about 5 of her already, so for me, I ended up choosing Zatlux and William, and that was awesome. Now that has been changed, and right now, the newbie summons unfortunately have gone away because people would reroll their accounts multiple times over and over to try and get a very good Lego, and that caused a lot of new accounts to be made. So that is gone, and now you get Garel. As a new player, you get Garel. Garel looks amazing. However, for a new player, I don't think he's fantastic. He's pretty good, but he's a very slow and steady sustained hero, and you do need pretty good gear to make him work. So I would rather them see I'd rather see them put in somebody like Zatlux, because Zatlux is amazing everywhere. That was number 3. Number 4 is the Magic Pass. As you may or may not remember, Magic Pass has a guaranteed legendary hero if you purchase the Magic Pass, not to mention all of the resources and all of the goodies. For me, I have not purchased this one yet. Mine is 10 bucks. That is what it costs for me. I usually buy the $10 one. That is US dollars, and that is the one that is worth it for me. Lots of pumpkins, lots of Stardust, and of course, you get a guaranteed legendary. And if you don't know, this current month is Opal, and Opal is amazing. There are still a bunch of days left to get Opal. I will definitely purchase this and get myself another copy of Opal. I do use Opal in the banker, and she's awesome. So the change here, what I want to talk about is now we no longer get a legendary hero every single month, because now the Magic Pass rotates with gear. Unfortunately, every other month we get gear. So one month we'll get a guaranteed legendary. The next month we'll get a set. I'll throw up a picture of that from the time that I purchased it. And I believe that was a Hurricane set. There's the picture right there. And now I don't know if it's worth it to buy this pass every single month. And I believe the majority votes with me that we want to see more heroes and not necessarily more gear, especially with the way it rolls. The good thing is it is 6-star and it is legendary. So that is another major change. But you be the judge on that, whether it's worth it to you or not. If you're just starting, that might be really worth it to you to get some gear to be able to hop into dungeons. Now, with that said, speaking of dungeons, we now have a lot of hell stages. This is new hell stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we now have Fabled Gear in dungeons as well. Fabled Gear has a chance to roll an additional stat or to roll a bonus stat on that particular stat. That is Fabled Gear. So if you have 5% HP, Fabled Gear has a chance to roll 10% HP on that gear, and that is how it's going to drop. That is how it's going to drop before it's actually rolled. So all the dungeons have hell stages, and that's kind of cool. And of course, you get much better gear from the hell stage dungeons. This is going to be a post-edit insert because I almost forgot the most important feature in the game, and that is going to be elemental power. We now have elemental power, which boosts our heroes' bonuses very, very high, I guess I could say, once it's maxed out. The first few levels are very slight. As you can see, my total level is pretty low. It's at 55 because I've been working on maxing out some of these. Now, the way that it works is very simple. It's broken down into fire, water, wood, light, and dark. And then up top, we have health, attack, defense, focus, and resistance. And for me, what I've chosen to do is, since most of my heroes are water, I've chosen to go for attack, and I've chosen to max out water, wood, and I'm working on fire. Now, each time you have a level, you start with level 1, and that is pretty easy to do. If, let's say, this one is upgradable with 20 of these green diamonds, they're called elemental stones. Now, level 1 is fairly easy to upgrade. You can use 20 green elemental stones, and as it goes up, you start using the blue stones, and you actually end up going up to the golden ones. Now, of course, the higher tiers take the golden ones, right? This one costs 100 to go from level 9 to level 10, but when it's all upgraded, if we look at the attack, for example, I have 10 out of 10 attack on the water, and that is giving me 30% extra water attack for water heroes, or I should say 30% extra attack for water heroes, not 30% water attack. And the same thing with wood, and the same thing with fire. Right now, my fire is 6 out of 10, and I currently have 18% bonus. This is a bonus to your hero's abilities, to your hero's stats, not abilities, they're your hero's stats, and that affects the overall stats, and that's how come I was able to get, and that's why I was able to get such good stats on my Nathalia and my Zatlux as well. So this is very, very important. This is something that you want to do, and you want to upgrade hopefully all of them as things go over time. Upgrade all of them as much as possible, because this will affect your overall stats, and the way you do that is by playing Team Arena. Now right now I am in Plat 2, which got reset. I haven't played in quite some time. I am in Plat 2. I tend to float around between 3 and 4, and anything higher than Plat 4 for me is just too much work, and it requires specific heroes, because some people end up putting Dark Nicholas or Urian in there, or like this one's an easy win, and this works out really, really well. And this is just a 3v3. If you're familiar with games like Raid, this is a 3v3 arena, and that is how that works. And you need to win 2 out of the 3. And of course, regular arena is still regular arena. And as you can see, I dropped down big time, so I have to work on that. But that is something I did not want to forget to mention. Elemental power, and that can be found on the bottom left-hand side of the combat screen. And that is under combat from the main screen. Go to combat, left-hand side, elemental power. It's probably right behind my camera. So that is very, very huge. I would recommend you work on farming Team Arena, playing as much Team Arena as you can to go ahead and build your elemental power. The next thing I want to talk about very briefly is all of the buttons, or at least some of the buttons, like the altar button, like the forge button, have been moved up top and are now in the very top right on the star. And you have your forge, you have your altar up there as well, and then you have your index. So clicking on index, speaking of index, we do have a new faction, Visitors by Sea, and we have a couple of heroes there. That is a new faction that looks like it's going to be filled in very, very shortly. We also have the Forge. Now, if you're not familiar with this, the Forge allows you to craft different types of gear. We have a bunch of different types of gear, and they are broken down into stars on the left-hand side. 4 to 6 star, of course, is much cheaper to craft than 5 to 6 star. However, the 6-star gear is still fairly rare to craft. And let's see if I can go ahead and craft something for us here. See if we get something good. It is a 5-star blue, so that is actually complete garbage. But that is the way that it works. And these are best saved for crafting events. The next thing I want to touch on is books. We now have books. That is a fairly recent addition. And if we take a look at Nathalia, who is my only hero that has any books, they are under Mastery now. And under Mastery, you have books. And we have 3 different enhancements. The top one is Physique on this particular hero, and we can put 6 books under that. And every time we add a book, and of course, since Nathalia is a epic hero, she does need epic books. I only have 1 epic book here. She does need epic books, and every time we add a book into her, we get a random stat, and that is going to be 4 out of 6. Once we put all 6 books, that will be maxed out. And every time we add a book, this actually goes random. So let's go ahead and add a book to Nathalia, since she's my favorite, and that goes randomly. And as you can see, it went on Physique, and it went speed to defense. Grants a defense boost equal to 50% of speed, so that will make her a lot tankier. And every time, as I've mentioned, every time we add a book, this goes between Physique, gear, and ability. And speaking of gear, gear works like this. This is random as well. And then the first one, we have fixed stat up, 15% increase to main stat. So I've put 3 books out of 4 into gear. That is where they landed. Every time we add a book, it kind of goes randomly wherever. And then ability works very, very similar. And currently I have increased my crit rate by 8%. I gained another Arcane Word ability level cap +1, and Arcane Surge ability cap +1, which does make her a lot stronger. And then, of course, with the gear stats and the physique stats, this does make her a lot stronger, and this does make her hit a lot harder, pushing her stats very, very high. For me, I got 5,000 attack on her, and you can see the rest of the stats there. I'm not gonna brag because this took a lot of work. So those are the epic books, and the elite books work the same way. Elite books go on elite heroes, epic books go on epic heroes, and legendary books go on legendary heroes. And right now, I don't have any heroes maxed out because legendary books are very, very hard to get. So there it is. Those are the top changes. I believe there was 6 or 7 of them. Those are the top changes if you're just coming back in 2023 as a new player, if you're coming in as a new player, or if you're coming back as a player who's taken some time off and are coming back to all of the changes. There they are. I hope this helps you. Thank you everybody for watching. Leave a like and a subscribe down below. And for more helpful videos like this, check out the top right.